watching people like him explode makes me really, really happy, because people are saying that bodybuilding is dead, and literally it is not. Carlos Tomalczyk Jr. Hey.
What's going on? How you doing, brother?
I'm all fine. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on. When you reached out to me, I was excited. I was like, you're like, oh, let's. I wanted to wait till the dust settled. I was like, dude, no, let's get this going.
Yeah, I didn't want that, to be one of these guys that, just jump straight after your success. I didn't want to write it, but it's all fine, because it gives you as well some kind of fame, so to speak.
Yeah.
Some kind of recognition.
Yeah. So, but I really appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited for this one.
Thank you so much for coming. So, how is the rebound phase going?
It's going pretty well. So right now I'm working with Cash Kudry, doing my rebound phase and going into my off season. And this is probably the cleanest rebound I've had since I've ever started bodybuilding. You kind of come in, you don't know what a rebound is. So when it's off season, you just go straight off season after. Well, that's how I was. I didn't know what a rebound was when I first started. So I was like, well, diet's done, I'm off. And I would, kind of eat, and, you blow up, and you kind of experience how that feels. You feel sick, and, you don't really like how you look. And then as I've gotten more experience with bodybuilding, each year has gotten better and better and better. And I have to say that by far, this is probably the cleanest rebound I've had so far. Like, weight's gone up, but water retention is, low. I'm still maintaining my cardiovascular fitness and, my flexibility. Lower back pumps are to a minimum. The signs of like, ooh, things are getting a little bit out of control are definitely definitely lower than before. So everything's good. I'm sitting at around 250 right now, 248. I fluctuate between 247, 250. So that's good for me. I'm happy right there. And I'd like to keep it there for a bit. And as we begin to transition into the off season.
Why? What made you really change your mind when it comes to the rebound? Because, old school, as you said, people used to just stop dieting and that's all, get back to the weight. Now it's more of a recovery diet, so to speak, rather than rebound or reverse. It's something in between.
Yeah. So it's actually when I started working with, when I started working with Dorian Hamilton in like around that 2019 time. I started working with him coming out of a contest phase that I was doing with Dave Palumbo, who was more of the old school mindset of just, like you said, come off and go ahead, eat a little bit of food, and then we'll get back to the diet, So yeah, I started working with Dorian around that time, and he was like, okay, we got to be clean. We want to put on as much quality tissue as possible and try to keep everything, water retention low. So, and I fluctuate water weight quite easily myself. So this was a big factor for me. So learning that and learning the, just kind of controlling that and not letting, the rebound get too out of control was something that Dorian taught me. And it was more so because, I didn't want to put on that unhealthy weight so quickly, and I didn't like how I felt. So, when I did my first rebound with him, weight went up quickly, but it was a little bit slower than before. So each year had gotten better and better, and my body had gotten more adjusted with coming out of a contest phase and into, handling a calorie surplus. So, cause I'm not one of those guys that'd be like, oh, I only gained 5 pounds. It's been 3 weeks after the contest, I only gained 5 pounds. No. Like, my body wants to get back up, and, it'll drop quickly and it'll come back up quickly. So controlling those variables coming out of a contest prep was something that Dorian Hamilton kind of introduced me to. And then moving on, so forth with Patrick Tuor, and now working with Cash. Each year, I feel like my body has gotten more adept with handling that transition phase.
What's the hardest part of the dieting for you? I mean, of the process to getting to the stage, because it's of course diet, sleep, and so on.
Yeah.
What gets you most of the trouble?
I have to say, like, as I get lower into close to the contest, of course, sleep, it's hard for me to sleep. And I think that was the major issue coming in with this prep right here. Was I had trouble sleeping, the hunger, not really like cravings, but just hungry, and just overall sleep. I couldn't sleep. I'd sleep maybe couple hours, maybe an hour or two, and then I wake up and I'd be up for 3 hours. Wake up for another 2 hours. So it was this broken sleep that really affected me this time around. But in the past, it probably would just be like the low energy. Like that's probably one thing that I really dislike when, you know, you get down to those last few gripes of prep and you're just so low energy where everything feels like it's a mountain to climb. But that's the part, you know, you have to get over. But I mean, this time around, I think like, it wasn't even really the amount of energy I had. It was just like the lack of quality sleep that I was getting.
Yeah, the amount of sleep can hit us really, really bad when it comes to the recovery itself processes. And it really makes us annoyed because, you know, you are first of all hungry, which makes you annoyed yourself. And then adding a lack of sleep makes you really irritated.
Yeah. And that's why I believe, like, you know, we were kind of discussing this, how the mindset of how different regions handle the sport. And, you know, that's why I think this is one of like the toughest, you know, sports to do, because yet as you come down and you're feeling all these, you know, you may not be sleeping well, you're hungry, you're eating, you know, in a deficit, but you still have to perform as if you're not.
Yeah, as Dorian said, that, you know, it's the only sport where you have to feed your body less and expect it to do more and better, which is totally opposite. So it's hard to achieve. And it's not like, you know, it's not like our training is the hardest, because there are sports where training is as hard or even maybe harder. But the aspect when you are on such a low energy and such low calories makes it twice as hard, because you simply don't have a fuel. You make a 2 sets of 2 working sets, and you're like, what's happening now?
Yeah, exactly. And that was so I think that's also like what draws me into the sport, is that, you know, that challenge of like pushing yourself when, you know, you think you may not have left, you know what I mean, but there is more in the tank. So I think that's also something that really draws me into the sport, as well as like the routine that comes with it. You know, it kind of routinizes my day, and you know, everything that goes around like my life and bodybuilding, you know, is so structured. And I think that came from, you know, me, you know, being in bodybuilding for so long. I've learned how to structure my day properly, and, you know, not, you know, leave anything just to chance and be like, and just kind of let my day fall to the wayside. So I think that's something as well, is, you know, that routine from bodybuilding, as also, that's what really drew me into it.
Yeah, there's much more to bodybuilding than just simply eating, training, and, you know, and resting. There is so many aspects, as we spoke: the sleep, the recovery, the you know, all of the massages, therapy, the mindset. It all goes into the sport. We can't just be like, you know, for 2 hours in the gym and that's all. It doesn't work like that.
No, yeah. You know, like you said, you have those 2 hours in the gym, and then, you know, you have the rest of the day, and that's where, you know, probably, you know, most of the progress is made. You know, when you're sleeping, you're eating, you're making sure you're getting in your supplementations, making sure you're getting in the tissue work, the therapy, which is something that I started to prioritize this year as well, is you know, getting, you know, more therapy and tissue work, because in the past I would be working, you know, traveling from, you know, my job, which is probably about 45 minutes away. So it would be hard, you know, 9 to 5, trying to get like actual tissue work in, except for on the weekend. But now that I'm able to work from home, you know, with the circumstances that we're in, I'm able to structure, you know, I'll go on my lunch break, because the massage therapist is probably like a 15-minute ride away. So I can go on my lunch break, you know, get an hour massage, come back, work, go to the gym, things like that now. And I definitely think that, you know, these different modalities have impacted my physique even more. But people, you know, that's what people don't see. They just think, oh, you just go to the gym, you just eat. But it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's a lot more of that than that. Especially Nick Walker shows it. He's like all into.
Yeah. It's you got to be, and he shows that, hey, like you have to do these things, and like when you nail these things, you know, good things can happen. You know, you'll see progress in your physique when you're consistently, right? The consistency of like nailing these factors, you know, it'll take you from, you know, here to here.
How was meeting Nick, by the way? How is he in real life? He's a really, really huge guy.
Bro, he's large. He is a large human. He is quite big. Like you just look at him and be like, man, you're huge, bro. Like, you know, like that kind of big. And, you know, I've seen some bodybuilders in real life. I've, you know, gone to, you know, meet the Olympians, and, you know, you go to the Arnold Classic and you meet the athletes, meet and greet. And so I've seen some bodybuilders in real life, but he's a big dude. He's a big dude. So yeah, but we had a great chat, and he gave me some good information, you know, moving forward, you know, for my, you know, rookie season coming up sometime soon.
Yeah, and when we are still with the life beyond the bodybuilding, so to speak, how much of an influence and support was your girlfriend? Because you showed her, you show her pretty often in social media.
Yeah. So she came about 8 weeks out from my, I think I was 8 weeks out from my qualifier and 12 weeks out from nationals. So about 3 months she was here, because she's originally from Germany, and she had spent a month in Mexico before she came here. So she was in Mexico and then came here to spend the rest of the prep with me. It was the first prep she spent with me, so we didn't know how it was going to go, but, you know, she was a great factor, you know, and especially like during, like, you know, like you said, the mental aspect, where things like you may think you look wrong, you may think you look like this way, and, you know, you're not happy with how you look, but, you know, having someone there you can express your feelings to, and, you know, they can give you some positive feedback. And, you know, my girlfriend's not really one to blow smoke up anyone's ass. She's pretty direct. So you know, if I didn't look the way I wanted to look, she'd be like, oh yeah, like you're holding water today, like this is what it is, but it'll be okay, right? So she'll like kind of be like, tell me like, okay, but, you know, I mean, we can get to work, and these are things we can help, you know, to mitigate that. If I look great, she'd be like, hey, like you look great, you look on point, let's keep moving, let's keep progressing. You know, so she was just like a very strong factor in, you know, helping my mentality stay fixated, but stay on point for the goal, because you know, there was a lot of hype going around, and I never experienced that before. So she definitely helped me stay grounded, I want to say, throughout this entire prep. So she was a big factor in more ways than one. If I wanted to list them all off, we'd be on here for 2 hours. So she was a great factor, as well as my family. You know, my dad. You know, if you see me, you're probably going to see him, because we're always together. My mother, my sister, you know, so I have a really good support system here. My trainer, Kyle Smith, he's like a brother to me. We're all like a team. So I was just very grateful to have a good support system, you know, going through this contest prep, especially with my girlfriend living with me here.
It's good to see that, you know, young people like you are still such a family guys. You know, you, Nick, you're showing that family first.
Yeah. It's just how, you know, I was just brought up, you know, like we always wanted to support each other. You know, it didn't matter if like my sister was playing a sport, or if I was in a club or she was in a club, you know, my parents were always, you know, there. And I'm very lucky, because where I'm from, a lot of people's their dad isn't always around. A lot of young men don't have a father in their life around my area. So I consider myself blessed and lucky to have a dad who would always, whatever I was interested in, he was more interested in it. You know, he's doing research, figuring things out, wanting to be involved. My mom wanting to be involved, you know, and vice versa with my sister. Whatever she did, they want to be involved in it. It didn't matter what it was. So yeah, we just had a really good support system from, you know, since we were kids, and, you know, that still hangs with us today. They're still very involved in, you know, like, how's your job going? You know, how's bodybuilding going? So yeah, we're a tight knit family, and we like to keep it that way for sure.
Did you play any sports before the bodybuilding?
Yes. So when I started out, I was played a little bit of baseball when I was a kid, and then I moved into doing some martial arts, so some kickboxing, some Wing Chun. These were things that I was kind of interested in, because I was a big fan of like Bruce Lee growing up. Loved all his movies, and I had all of them on like VHS and then DVD. So yeah, I had a big fascination with martial arts for a very long time, and it's still with me today. But I got into football when I was around 13, 14 years of age. And then I continued to play that all the way from grade school into secondary school, college, university. And at that point, I got injured, hurt my neck. And I was like, well, I kind of knew about bodybuilding at that point because I knew about, who doesn't know about Ronnie Coleman? So I knew about Ronnie Coleman and I was like, Ronnie Coleman's awesome. I watched his videos before, but I was also interested in like Phil Heath because around that 20, I want to say around the 2013, 2014 time, he was just winning his 3rd or 4th Mr. Olympia. And I was just kind of getting into it and I was watching him and then Kai Green go back and forth. And I was like, I kind of like that. You know, and I like that aspect of bodybuilding being not a solo sport in the sense that like you have, you know, your support system, but it's a solo sport in the sense that you know, you have to go to the gym and put the work in, you have to eat the diet, you have to do the cardio. And I like that, like coming from a team sport such as football, where, you know, it had to be like, everyone has to be on point or you won't win. But this was more of a, you know, you have to make sure you're staying on point with your diet. You have to make sure you're staying on point with everything. So I kind of like that challenge of bodybuilding. And it was something that I could do with the weight room because I love the weight room. So it was either do that or CrossFit. And I was like, I'm not doing CrossFit. So a bunch of my friends were doing CrossFit. So I was like, no way. So I went into doing bodybuilding and around like that 2014 time. And I did 3 shows back to back. And then I stopped for a bit to finish my undergraduate. And then I did another show, I think in like 2016. And then I got into graduate school, stopped again so I could finish my graduate degree. You know, just life factors, building up my career. And then, you know, that's where I was to, you know, this past year. I did my last show in 2017 as a middleweight. And then I came back this year as a super heavy.
Yeah, and that was a really, really, really big jump. By the way, Ronnie Coleman used to be a football player as well. Is your neck fine now?
You know what? I have to watch certain movements, such as like, I can't go like too crazy on shrugging movements. They'll tend to irritate my neck. And then, you know, I'll have to get some type of tissue work or adjustments from the chiropractor to fix it. And that's like probably like one of the exercises I have to just stay away from is just anything that tenses up the trap area. So it just gives me more issues for my neck. But other than that, my neck is okay, as long as I don't go back to playing football.
So maybe stay where you are, you know.
Yeah, just stay away from that for a bit.
Yeah, just for a bit. And coming back to the nationals, because winning the overall and the decision, it was a close battle between you and Justin Shire. I wouldn't want to judge the show. And what were your thoughts when you were standing there and waiting for your name to be called out?
I knew it could go either way, you know. So I was just like, hey, like it was a good battle, and you know, if it goes his way, then that's what it meant. That's what it's meant to be. You know, I was kind of like, whatever way it goes, that's the way it was meant to be. Because the way I made it to the stage, I was already happy with what had occurred, right? And we can touch more on that in a bit, but you know, getting to the stage and then doing as well as I did up to that point, I was very happy with what we had brought. So at that point, I was like, it's in the judges' hands and their decision, and whichever way it goes, you know, I'm happy with what we were able to do.
Yeah, and you have insane genetics, that's for sure. We can't deny as well the hard work, because if you don't work, the genetics doesn't show up. That's just as simple like this. Did you feel a lot of pressure when a lot of social media used to speak about you? Are you going to make it? Are you going to be in shape? Are you going to improve before you had to qualify for nationals?
Yeah, and it was something I just wasn't used to. You know, I'm more of a low key kind of guy. I've been kind of under the radar for a while now, and you know, I tried to do a show in 2020, but when I was working with Dorian, but it just didn't happen. And you know, to have like not done that prep, and then I was like, okay, well, this has to be the prep. It was a lot of it was actually more self pressure than like the media outlets. It was more so of me like, okay, like I have to do this. It's been a long time. Like I have to do this. And it was more of me putting a lot of expectations on myself, you know, driven by, you know, my own goals and my own my own, expectations, not necessarily the expectations of, others, but I did hear them and I did recognize them. But a lot of it was just like, this is something that I have to do. And it was, like I said, I was put a lot of self-pressure on myself. So it's more internal than external.
As Sebum says, Chris Bumstead, pressure is a privilege, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was nice, but it was nice to be, to come out and to have that kind of recognition, because I have put in the work in, and I have been, slowly climbing up the ranks, as when I first started as a middleweight and then now. So it's nice to get the recognition, and to be able to kind of fulfill those expectations of others and of myself as well.
You know what's the good thing now? Because you don't have to prove anyone now, any doubters, any haters or so. You just have to prove the people that really believed in you.
Yeah. And that's something that that was when, after my name was called, that was the feeling that I felt, was like, we did it. We did it, not me, but we did it. Everyone who poured into me, everyone who left me a great comment, everyone who slipped me a good DM, my everyone who was there supporting me, the pros, the amateurs, my family, my girlfriend, my trainer, like my posing coach, my coach, everyone, it's like, we did it, not just me. It really did, they're kind of saying, it takes a village. It really took, all hands on deck to get this done. And that's why I was just so excited that I didn't say I did it, it's like we did it.
Speaking about the all hands, I know that it's a touchy subject, but yeah, let's speak about Patrick Tuor and what happened between him and you. Yeah,
so it just so happens that as we were getting towards the tail end of the prep, in my body, like I said, I wasn't really sleeping, and I honestly think that was the major factor of things, sleeping. And then, I was just retaining a lot of, fluid. So I went from being around 230 to 240. 10 days before the show, about 10, 12 days before the show. And I felt that a change needed to be made. And you know what? Like I said, it was a lot of self-expectations. And so I made a call that, some people may think was, not the best one, but, I made a call that I thought would help me achieve the goal that I wanted to achieve. And no disrespect to Patrick, he's a great coach. You can see the slew of people that he has brought to the stage is amazing. And Patrick has really brought, if I didn't work with Patrick in the off season and gain the muscle that I needed to make, I don't think I would have won this at all. So I'll put that out there as well. That working with him allowed me to do this as well. So he was a great part of this. It just so happened that towards the tail end that we had to make a change. And, that was one that wasn't an easy decision at all.
I think that as well, that Cash is really close to you. I mean, lives next to you. He can see you. He was there when the nationals happened. So he could, work by seeing you, by visualizing, because sending photos doesn't always tell the story. And when he sees you, in real life, it's way different.
Yeah. I mean, that was a plus, right? That's a plus. But to me, honestly, it wasn't a deciding factor as of okay, he's here, he can see me. It was just more of, I just felt that, what the direction that Cash was going was something that was going to work, for my body type. And my body was trending backwards. And like I said, a decision needed to be made. And the changes that were implemented, started to work, immediately within the next few days. My body started losing that, that fluid, that inflammation. He addressed my sleeping issues. I started sleeping a little bit better. I went from sleeping again 2, 3, 4 hours a night to having, 5, 6, 7. And then finally the week of the show, it was 8, 9. I even slept 10 hours, around, I think Tuesday or Wednesday when we got into Orlando. I slept for 10 hours and, I woke up and my body looked refreshed, renewed. He pulled certain things from, the program, which also had an effect as well. And yeah, so that was just the decision that I made. And I felt that it was, again, one that was, conducive towards helping me achieve the goal that we had set out to achieve. But again, if I had not worked with Patrick, all those months leading up to this, I don't think I would have had, the size, the roundness that people were talking about, that freak factor, to push me to win against guys like Nate Spear, like Justin Shire, who was in excellent condition.
Yeah, and Nate brought something really, really good. Nate took second to you, right?
Yeah. So, again, that's why I want to give my props to Patrick, is because he's a great coach.
Yeah, we were all surprised, so to speak, kind of shocked even that you switched, but well, you made a decision worked, and that's most important. It is not like we are bounded to a coach. That's what I think. What's the best for you is best for you, and you have to choose yourself. And going forward, what are the plans? Because there are still some kind of conversations. Are you going to the 212? Are you going to open? In my eyes, there is no way that you are going to 212. You are just made for open.
Yeah, and I feel that as well, as just coming out of this, rebound, and I'm seeing that we're putting quality size on right now. I look at my body weight and the way it's trending. I'm like, there's no way it will want to come back down to around 212. So I think after a solid few, maybe 8 months, we'll see how we go with the off season. That I'll be right where I want to be. Hopefully putting a lot of size on my back. And then there's two things that I think there's more, but glaring things that we have to keep working on is bringing up the pack, and then bringing in the conditioning, as well as I want to see more shoulders. I want to see more upper chest. I want to see more glutes on myself, more defined abs, that bricked out abs that Nick Walker has brought to the stage. So I'm definitely prioritizing those as well. But the two main factors, bringing up the back this all season, and then into the contest prep, bringing in good conditioning.
Yeah, especially your back. But I'm quite surprised, as you said, about your chest. I thought that your chest is one of the your strongest body parts, as well as the hamstrings. But you said your upper chest. Yeah, this thing can't be really too big, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you can never have too much upper chest, and just kind of bring in how everything connects with the upper to front delt, side delt. So kind of have that roundness that fills in everything. So that's what I really want to see from myself. And we're starting to see it, as as we're working during this phase right now. Okay, we're seeing what exercises I'm connecting with. So we're gonna, we found the exercise that I'm working with, and we're gonna run those, until we can't run them anymore, and progressing those movements, and then see what else works moving forward. So I have a really good trainer with me, and I've been working with him for about 3 years now, 3-4 years, and he's learned my body. He kind of knows what works, and him and Cash communicate together on the training program. So and then I also give my input as well as what I feel is what I'm feeling. So yeah, but yeah, definitely the back is something that we have to bring up. But if people see that where I started at with that thing, it's come up, but it will come up even more for sure.
It's quite a jump. It's just a matter of time, to be honest. I've got 2 more questions to you before we go. One thing is, do you coach people? So do you want to advertise yourself anyhow?
No, I don't coach people at the moment, but I did in the past. But right now, I'm just working my full-time job, and I'm also bodybuilding. So as I probably begin to transition into taking, bodybuilding a step further, and if I ever do transition away from my full-time job, then I might get back into coaching. But at the time, not right now. I do have a YouTube channel though. It's called 𝐓𝐡𝐨𝐚𝐬 Jr. So you guys can check that out. I've been putting content up on it, and we'll be beginning to put content out weekly on there as well. It's a co-channel with my girlfriend, as she'll be recording content as well as she gets ready for her wellness prep this year.
Yeah, I'm going to link it below. And one more question is one more thing. Congrats on your sponsors.
Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. I just recently signed with Project AD, right here as well. Just drinking on a little bit of water. But yeah, they're great. You know, Joe Binley and Joey over there have brought me on, and you know, I'm really excited to grow with them, as well as you know, them helping me grow, you know, my own personal brand. So yeah, we've been really excited for what's to come. Have a lot of things in store. Going on gym tours around the States right now. I have some things planned out, going to the Arnold. We're gonna be hitting up a lot of shows, putting the face out there, connecting with the people, because that's something I want to really do. Is, you know, I really want to be able to get out there, connect with the people, and you know, show them like, hey, like, you know, it's possible to get out here and achieve your dreams. And you know, I'm walking proof of it right here. So yeah, Project AD, I'm super grateful to them. Joey, Tasha for bringing me on. Sergio just joined with them as well.
Sergio
yes, Sergio 𝐓𝐡𝐸 Jr. Yeah, so Sergio has been like a mentor to me coming in. He's also with Iron Rebel, my clothing and gear apparel sponsor. So yeah, he's with them as well. Long Life Meal Prep, they're working with me for my meal prep, as well as Brett's Bling. They come out with like my they're coming out with like jewelry for me. So dumbbell chains, like plate chains, whatever you like to use, contest jewelry as well. So they've begun to sponsor me. So and a host of others as well. West Coast Confection, Never Rest Coffee. Yeah, so it's a lot of people who have really jumped on board and supported me from the start and from moving forward. So I can't be ever more grateful to them and for believing in me.
That's important, that they see the future in you.
Yeah, yeah, and I really didn't see myself, you know, kind of going this way when I started, but you know, to have these, you know, sponsors believe in me, to have you know, the people out there, the messages believe in me, you know, that's something that I really take to heart, and I'm not going to let them down. I'm not going to waste that opportunity.
You spoke about the Ronnie and Phil when you were coming out, but who is your favorite bodybuilder?
Oh man, so like I love Phil Heath. I love Phil Heath. I love his physique. I think it's ridiculous, like that roundness and everything. It's crazy. But like I like Kevin Levrone as well. Kevin Levrone as well. He's one of my favorite bodybuilders, specifically like the 92 one in Helsinki. I love that physique. It's so clean. So like that's classic to me right there. He's a great physique. Everything from his tan to conditioning to hair was on point. I think that was like a great physique for him. Like 92 Kevin Levrone was one of my favorite physiques, and he's definitely one of my favorite bodybuilders. So, but I also as well can't deny that, you know, I'm a big fan of Flex Lewis. So I have my bodybuilder William Bonac as well. So, you know, I kind of like guys who kind of resemble, you know, the physique that I've been trying to build going forward with my career. So those are some guys that I really favor.
Yeah, there's some disturbance from my dog. Carlos, thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait to see the youth fighting for the title, because we have some kind of change of the guard. You, Hunter, Ian, Sergio even isn't that old, not to insult him. Nick, of course, Vlad Sukoruchko. There are so many young people coming, and new people like Justin Shire, who we mentioned. Yes. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope that we are going to see you soon back on the stage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you as well, man. I really appreciate all of your support, you know, because you've been one of the guys that have been, you know, supporting me for a while now. So I'm so excited to see what you're going to do, bro, because you're looking really crazy and it's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.